Hey guys, it's Aaron, the Monday guy, and I am currently in the car with my sister. She's right here driving, so her name is Lisette. And we are on our way to school in LA traffic. And this is kind of like a last minute video, and I'm trying to finish it before I get to school so that I can upload it soon. Okay, so my coming out. I didn't really come out as transgender at first. I always considered myself like a gay girl because I thought that was the only thing that would explain it. Didn't really know what transgender was or what that even had to do with me or anything like that. So I just felt like being gay was like accepting, and it was okay for me to be like that. And at school, everyone knew me as like the lesbian girl, and I was really known at school. So I don't know, it was. But at the same time, everyone kind of like saw that I was really masculine, and everyone, including my family and my sisters and my friends and people from school who didn't even know me, and so at school it was kind of like I was comfortable being. For a cool minute I was comfortable being the gay girl because I was one of the only ones there that was like openly like, yeah, I like girls, and it wasn't really like oh yeah, I'm gay, and it was just kind of like, oh, everyone knew I like girls. But it got to a point where it was like I was dressing more and more like a boy, and I was looking more and more like a boy, and people would confuse me with a boy, and it was like very awkward situations. But for like it was kind of like kind of relieving because it felt good when people confused me for a boy. And over time, like I just started like cutting my hair and like buying more boy clothes, and I thought I was just very butch, and that's why it was like, oh, it was okay, And one day my sister, who's right here driving, her name is Lisette again, she approached me and she just like straight up asked me like, hey, have you ever looked into transgender people or being a trans guy? And I had kind of heard about it, but I didn't really look into it. And when she told me that, I went and I did a lot of research, and I started looking things up, and I was like, I didn't know there was like a word for it, so I thought it was like I was just being a lesbian. And she kind of told me to like look into it and just make sure that I was what I was thinking that I was. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So after buying more accessories that made me look more like a guy, everything kind of felt right, and I felt like I wasn't hiding myself from anything, or I wasn't trying to be someone who I didn't feel like I was. Even though it was difficult because one of my sisters, she was okay with me being this way because she was the one who presented it to me, so she was very accepting. And another one of my sisters, I hadn't told her about how I felt or what me and my other sister had talked about, so she was still wanting to buy me like girl clothes and like dresses and things like that, even though she knew that something wasn't clicking right. And when I would buy guy clothes, it made me feel great, and it made me feel like I looked good and like I was attractive and things like that. But even some of the girl clothes that I had, like little by little, I just started like getting rid of it, and sooner or later, like you would look into my drawers and it was like guy clothes or t-shirts, plaid shirts, jackets, things that girl wouldn't have in her drawers. And it made me feel good about myself. It made me feel, what's the word? Complete. And this was like during my senior year of high school, and people noticed because that's when everyone was like, oh, your hair, and like you cut your hair, and it was shocking to other people, but not to me or anything like that. And I didn't come out as transgender in high school. I didn't know how to tell people because of the judging and the talking, and people already talked about me because of the way I looked and the way I dressed. And so I didn't want to make it any more problems. I just wanted to end high school on good terms with everyone, and so I just I graduated from high school, and that's when I had a serious talk with my sister, and we talked about whether I was going to make the decision to transition or not. And that's when I told her that I would prefer to use the he, him, his pronouns. And I decided to change my name to Aaron, which is my cool name, guy name. And I know it's difficult for the people around me to call me by that name or use the correct pronouns, but I understand that I had been living my life for like 16 years as a girl and using a different name and different pronouns, and I knew it wasn't gonna be like that, a change. So even now, when they don't get it right, I'm not gonna get angry and yell at them for not getting it right, because everyone is like gonna make a mistake. And of course, sometimes you don't even call like other people their right names, even if it doesn't have anything to do with their gender or anything like that. Okay, when I finally came out as transgender, I didn't say it all at once. It was like gradually over time. I told like the important people in my life. Of course, I didn't have to tell my sister because she was the one who approached me about it. So she was very accepting the whole way through, and I know that I can always talk to her about anything or any problems that I have, or if I'm looking for anything to help me during my transitioning. I know that she's always gonna be there. But not everyone reacted that way. When I told my other sister, I remember we were at Olive Garden, and we had just sat down to eat, and we were looking at the menus, and I remember I just told her out of nowhere, like, hey, I'm transgender. And she was like, and she looked at me, and I was like, and I'm gonna transition into a guy. And she was like, if that's what makes you happy, then okay. I think she just wanted to eat. She didn't even care. Like, she was like, whatever, like, if you're happy, then. And it felt nice because my siblings have been my parents for the past few years, and they've been taking care of me for, like, they fed me, they bought me clothes, they like had a roof over my head, and it felt nice knowing that my siblings were okay with it. And however, when I told my brother, kind of just shouted it at him, and he was kind of shocked, so he didn't know what to say. He was just like, okay, and he just like kind of walked out. And we have a lot of problems with my brother sometimes, so I'm guessing in one of those moments when he got really angry at me, he told my mom, and my mom kind of lashed out, and she went off about how I shouldn't be that way, and how it's bad to be that way, and how there's something wrong with me, and I shouldn't think about transitioning, and how God made me this way for a reason, and it was very difficult, because of course I think your parents gonna think like that because you've been their child for, since. And my dad, I don't know if he knows. I haven't spoken to him in a while, so. But I think that my brother is kind of like getting used to it now. He doesn't call me by my preferred pronouns or my name, but he knows about it, and I think he's just taking his time to do it, and I'm letting him take his time to do it. I don't want to pressure him into anything. My mom, I haven't spoken to her about it, and because I don't want to argue or do any like type of arguing about it. If she's gonna call me, then I'm gonna talk to her, and that's about it. I have a girlfriend who I've been with for almost 3 years, and when we met, she met me as a girl. She met me with a different name, different pronouns, and when I told her, she wasn't like, oh, that's weird or anything. She told me that she still loved me, and of course she still wanted to be with me. But she was scared of telling her parents because her parents had met me already as a girl, and they saw me change. They saw the transition as well. Even now, they tell me like, oh, you cut your hair, or you look different, or something that that shows that they know. And her mom and her dad is really cool. He doesn't really talk about my appearance much or anything like that. But her mom kind of like, she hints that she knows things, and it's kind of scary because I'm scared that she's gonna tell her like, oh, I don't want her to be, or I don't want him to be here, or anything like that. But I'm still with her, and we're getting through things together. Okay, so currently I am not transitioning medically, but socially I'm like everyone else. But I'm not transitioning medically because of like financial issues and stuff like that. Like here in the US, it's like you have to pay for everything yourself, and not a lot of like insurances cover like things of this matter. And not just because of that, but also because I think of my future a lot, and I think that right now wouldn't be the best time to transition. I'm currently working and going to school, and if I transition right now, I would be struggling. Okay. I just don't feel as if right now is the right time to transition, because of the goals that I have set, and in order to transition, I will have to reach those goals first, so that I could be satisfied with my life, and I
will take it more hard than others. And it's not the same struggle for everyone. Some people's bodies take longer, some people's bodies are a little bit weaker, and it's a process, a tough process, both psychologically, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of those things. You have to be prepared, and right now you have to do things to prepare yourself, which is why you're taking this social stance first. You're taking your time coming out to your family and your friends and everybody around you.
See, we still have yet much to learn.
It's not going to be an easy process, and I'm going to be cliche as fuck right now, but look at Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn was successful. She is successful. She got to the point in her life where she could probably do whatever the hell she wants to do for the rest of her life. Obviously, she's going to continue to be a businesswoman and continue to run multi-million-dollar corporations. I'm not even sure what she does, but she got there, and now she transitioned. and she's where and what she wants to be, and what she's always been.
Even though she had to suffer through the whole waiting process and not coming out until, you know, now.
You can't receive unless you give first. And she gave a lot. So there goes my analogy, I guess. It's not going to be easy for you, and you're going to know that more than any of us. Obviously, you're going to be the one going through it, but we're going to be there with you no matter what. Well, I'm going to be there with you no matter what. I'm speaking for myself because day one, baby.
Day one. You knew me better than I knew myself.
Can't even speak into the video and shit.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap.
Wise words from a wise master.
Okay, well, that was my coming out story. Not really a coming out story. A finding out story. See what I did there?
I don't see what you did there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'll see you guys next week. I still don't know what the topic is, but I'm the last day, so I'll see you guys.